Welcome to Sales Strategy, a podcast about sales, business, and strategy, brought to you by NathanManthoneke.com. So welcome another episode of Sales Strategy, and I'm joined here today by Stefan Heintz, a social entrepreneur from Sweden originally. Now you are Malagueño because you live in Fuente, don't you?
Yes, correct. Thank you.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about your background, because you have a very strong experience in sales. You've been working in different industries, but mainly you can explain to us what is your background and how did you acquire that expertise in sales?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so what I'm saying is the last 20 plus years I've been in sales in different ways. The last episode was 11 years in a global software IT company, and before that into conferencing systems and telecommunications. So more or less all my adult life I've been in sales and different sales roles, sales management, sales, partner sales, etc., etc. So yes, very much so. Different parts of the world and mostly Europe.
And what got you into sales in the first place? Because you could have chosen so many other areas. What got you there to begin with?
Yeah, I think the willingness to win. I don't know. I wanted something to fight for and the reward for it.
Awesome. I think most entrepreneurs, most business owners share that competitive edge in a way. They want to achieve, they want to compete, they want to win. When they playing cards, there is a willingness to win. Board games, everything.
Of course, yeah.
Excellent. And would you say that it's very different to be an entrepreneur in Sweden when you compare that to your newly adopted country, Spain? And how would you explain the main differences that stand out to you?
Other than the administration bits,
which is a massive one,
cumbersome in Spain, and in Sweden when I used to run a couple of companies there as well, and I managed to do everything like bookkeeping and everything is online, etc. So here you need help and everything. And it's more costly to run a business here, to start up a business here. So I would say, need to have more kind of a due diligence before you get started here. It's much easier to just get started in Sweden, and you can close down as soon as you don't see it work or it works. So a bit more preparation here, and have a real business plan. I think it's a lot more small companies compared in the number of people we are in Spain. Spain is like 48 million. Sweden is like 10, so it's 5 times. And compared to how many we are, I think it's a lot more small companies here than in Sweden.
Absolutely. I think there was an estimation that about 95% of the companies are either very small SMEs or tiny SMEs. They are called here microempresas, which in Spain would be something like micro businesses or micro companies.
Yeah.
So very small operations compared to other countries like Sweden, absolutely. And how have you coped over the years with the idea of getting customers? What has been your secret or your hacks to get to your target clients? Something that you could share with somebody that is starting in business or is willing to spruce up the way they find clients? It's a big question.
I would say you don't have to know 100% what your offering is before you go out there. You learn from the clients or the potential clients during the way what they see and what they want to see. So even if you spend months and months and months of reading and understanding and trying, and you go out there, and then the first thing that happens is that you get questions that you haven't thought about. So I would say first lesson, of course you need to know the essentials of whatever you're going to do, but then you need to jump on it and go out there. And you learn. And be honest and say, actually I don't know. I need to, get that information, whatever it is.
That's a very big part. I realized when I started in sales, like more than 20 years ago, I was just so tender in a way, and I made so many mistakes. It was crazy. But I remember one of the first things, I talked too much, far too much, and I paid very little attention, or I asked very few questions. That was the first thing that I think, or the first big change that happened to me. Listening more, asking more questions, and trying to find out what the customer felt. Have you found that as well? That there was a shift when you began to be more proactive, or what was your key learning in terms of how to show proactive listening to clients?
Over the years, I mean, I had a lot of comments because my personality is very extrovert, and some people find that to be a sales individual. So some people came up to me before I went into sales, and they said, you will be my perfect sales guy because you talk a lot, and they see totally wrong because it's not true. So exactly as you say, you need to be a more active listener to go about it. How I learned it? I learned it the hard ways. Everything I learned is the hard way. By doing it a mistake, doing it wrong, and having to excuse myself for doing the wrong thing. But you learn from that. So there is not a perfect formula from birth. You should just follow that path, and that's crystal clear. It's nothing like that. You need to hit the bumps. You need to go wrong. You need to make the mistakes because that's where you learn.
That's very big advice. That's great to share with people.
It's not what you want to hear when you're new, because you don't want to do the failures, but that's what happens over time. That this is the way.
And who said that idea that you have to fail fast, you have to fail a lot, and hopefully to fail small?
Who said it? I have no idea, but I kind of yes and no. Because if you fail too much in the beginning, you may, I'm not suitable for this, and you go somewhere else. Rather than having small failures along the way. And I never stopped doing the wrong thing, because that's how I learned. Oh, I said it the wrong way. That's why you're taking it this way, etc., etc. Every day is a learning day.
Absolutely. It's very interesting because I'm a customer of yours in your business, which is, I would say, a very beautiful initiative. It's called Better Globe. It's a social entrepreneurship initiative, company based in Norway that is operating in Africa. You can tell us in a minute a little bit about that. And I decided to become a client of yours back in the day because I thought it's the wisest, the simplest of ideas, but one of the most powerful ideas that can change the way we invest people out of poverty. So in these times where people are scared to death, people are in this Maslow pyramid of needs, they write down in the bottom because they are like thinking, wow, will we survive? They in survival mode. What is the approach that you take into customers, and how can we draw from that to different industries? And first of all, maybe you want to tell us a little bit more about Better Globe and what do you do, and then we can focus on the business side of things.
Sure. So in 1 minute or less,
or more,
it's a social entrepreneur that is planting a special hardwood tree in Kenya and Uganda. And I say social entrepreneur because it's not the big fish industry. It's a company that's generated out of helping people out of poverty through tree planting. So, and of course they want to run their business, and they are profitable. They've been around for 16 years, about 40,000 customers today. So they are funding their business through crowdfunding. So from people putting in pocket money on a subscription basis. So it starts from 17 euros. Anyone can join, and you get 13% on the yearly return back. So the business case is fantastic, that the cause is great, that it's ethical and sustainable. And of course, this is not a normal investment where you go in with, I don't know how much money you go in for to call it an investment. But over time, as this is a subscription, it will be significant money and it will be significant return. But not something that you will actually make note of, because if you only put away, I don't know, 20, 50, 100, I don't know, a month, then it's not that big chunk of money that you put in, and it's all for a good cause. So that's the business, that's the deal, and then it's been, it's working very well, growing, and it should. But back to your question, what are I doing these times to get, to get that idea and that investment across? And the last couple of conversations I've had here is because it's pocket money, and if you have had some previous, how should I say, money put aside to survive a catastrophe like this, or pandemic, or an economical situation, then you still have some money on your bank that you can use. And as it's just like I said, 20, 50 bucks a month, you can go ahead. But it's more a psychological question than maybe an economical question, because there is a lot of people that are saying yes, but not now. And that's not the money that is talking, it's their fear that is talking. Oh, it's not a wise thing to do now, to do starting a new investment thing middle of the crisis, which I disagree with, of course, but it doesn't mean what I say. I have been doing this myself for over 6 years, and I put aside 10,000 euros a year on this. So for me, I've been there myself, I've seen it myself. So it's not a question, doesn't work. But for a new individual, maybe it is. So how do I go about it? This is one way to prepare yourself for the next time. So we all know, even if we don't want to know it, but it will take 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, we don't know. But some sort of catastrophe will happen again. That's just the nature of the world. So if you want to be in the same situation as you are today, or do you want to be in a better situation? Plus that you have done all the good things that is planting trees on the side. Sorry.
It makes a lot of sense. The thing is, in some cultures, particularly, having a contingency plan, both for your investments, for your company, for the way you run things, is a basic. It's something that you don't wonder about. You just do it. You try to have those contingency plans. But in some of the cultures, and I would say maybe Spanish is one of them, or some other Latin cultures, there is less planning involved. Generally speaking, it's unfair to generalize too much, but we could arguably say that in some cultures that is not as done, or a thing done. And also, just to be fair, even in other cultures that are way more more prepared for the future, we could say, arguably, they still having troubles with generating a contingency plan that is wide enough in scope. I'll give an example. Big companies that are producing components or are producing, manufacturing different things, and they had their base of production in China or in other places. They had no contingency plans, and they were manufacturing there because it was dirt cheap, and they never thought that something like this could happen. So now they are in deep, deep trouble. because their components and their products are not coming as they expected. So do you think there is going to be a big shift in how we think about the future, and that is going to affect how we run business, how we invest, how we think about everyday aspects of our entrepreneurial life?
And you would hope that everyone understands and reflects on where they are psychologically and economically in this situation, and remember this in 6 months. I think that's my job, or our job, to talk about. So we learn something every time we're hit with something like this, as everyone, but a lot of people experienced in 12 years ago when that economical, catastrophe happened. Countries went bankrupt. That's big deal. That's big deal. And so this is not close to that one in the economical factors, but it will still have the same psychology effect on people. So how do we get out of this, and how do we get better on this? I would say watching a lot of news and all of these non-social, America, for example, we see all of these, paycheck to paycheck people. And this is they need the money now, because there is not enough money for the next paycheck, which is not there. And that's not a few people. There's plenty. And the healthcare system. And all of these how should I say, bad plans that are in place are now surfacing. And let's hope that will bring a change, not just to us as individuals, to countries and to solidarity in whole. But of experience, we know it's very short, so then it's up to individuals to make their own decisions and I don't want to be in that position next time this happens. I don't want all my eggs in one basket next time the stock market is plummeting. I want a second or third. I want, spread my risks.
I think that's a great approach as well. And we have a surge of financial planners in Spain, particularly, but I would say everywhere. You have different options to work with your finances. You have chartered financial planners, you have people that can handle your investments. There are these big companies like OVB, for example, that are all over the world. I can't remember if they are German or they are Dutch or something. But basically, they have a wide network of financial advisors that are trying to instill this culture of run your numbers, do some number crunching, and try to project how you're going to come to that outcome that you're looking for in the future. And I think, personally, it would be a great thing if those financial planners integrate this thinking. What you were mentioning, think different, think outside of the box, diversify, don't have all the eggs in one basket. And Better Globe, I think, is a perfect fit in there. What we're doing in a couple of companies that I got, every time we have a new client, we buy one tree, and it's one way that we contribute to offset the carbon footprint, and also hopefully to make a little change, even if that change means just one way to gradually, one business owner at a time, they become aware that you can invest differently, that you can think and also plan ahead, and combine both things, to plan ahead and also to be more prepared as a business owner. I think that's great. As a company, as a project, I think it's beautiful, and you'd be very, very successful. And I would encourage you, for people that are listening, to check it out. Where can they go to check out this social entrepreneurship project on Better Globe?
You can either check Better Globe's website, or you contact me through your link here. Possibly afterward, we can leave my email there, of course. And as you were saying, of the 40,000 customers today, the company been around for 16 years. It's my perception of this is like a third of these customers are doing it just for the climate. so they want to plant trees and do the CO2 offset. A third of them realize that we, as in Western world, we can't live off the poor because that's what we do. We gain our wealth through the poor people. That's how it ends up. And the third do it for the real, economical situation. So it combines all three.
I think it's a great project, to be honest. I think it's something that we all should be involved and well behind. Also, I was thinking, how does this affect the way that we do business? Because we all have heard about social responsibility and corporate responsibility. Many companies are obliged, it's compulsory for them. They have to engage on some sort of social responsibility. Could this be a way not just to engage on that social responsibility activities, but also to position ourselves as business owners, however big or small we are as companies? But could this be a way to show our clients, to show our target market that we care what happens, that we are not oblivious to these pandemics and to this saturation that we are producing in the world? How do you feel about this?
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. Thank you. And yes, so to go back to your thing with CSR, that's actually how I got into this. I worked for this global software company that had a CSR department, and I was quite engaged with that, and that took me to a trip to Malawi in Africa, which then got me into Better Globe in Kenya and Uganda and all that. So that was the starter for me, and that's the whole reason why they have these CSR things in the companies, is to give back to society. And what is better than having me now actually leaving them but doing something good for the planet? And businesses, small, big, large, companies can invest in trees. They will receive a certificate on what impact that tree investment do for the climate. So you can actually offset your whatever you produce in your company. I can help out with some calculations on what is your impact as a construction company, or for a transport company, or for a consultants company, whatever. You have some sort of pointers that we can calculate on to see how much impact we have, and you can then invest, and you then have the offset, and you can use that in your marketing and CSR.
That's fantastic. I was hearing also from one of my clients. Is a big operation. They are a tax advisor that operates in more than 70 countries, and they say that in Spain there is this relatively new regulation called the non-financial report, where companies of a certain size, they are obliged by law. They have to do it. One of those things is that they have to show what they're doing to show their social responsibility. So I think that there's a great length, there's a great utility in having a chat with yourself, because actually, as you say, you can calculate exactly how much you are contributing to offset the carbon footprint. And I would say not just in Spain, because although you are based physically in Spain, you're living the dream in Southern or European California, but you work with companies in other countries as well, right?
Oh,
so if anybody's listening to us,
anyone who I can speak to.
Awesome.
So English, Swedish, Norwegian.
How many languages do you speak, by the way?
Yeah, that's what it's Swedish, English, Norwegian, some German. Getting to the Spanish, not on conversation level yet, but soon.
Fantastic. I'm telling this because I've heard you speak. I think you're a fantastic speaker on social entrepreneurship and sustainable economy. So if anyone hears this podcast and wants a very talented, a very inspiring speaker that can speak on sustainable economy, I would say invite Stefan Heintz to speak, because he's someone that very inspiring, that can help to have a different perspective on companies, on sales, and on an economy as well. So Stefan, I'm not sure if you would like to close with something, either a life hack for entrepreneurs or a sales hack. What would you like to leave anyone that is listening to this podcast or watching us on YouTube?
change of me going into social entrepreneurship and investing in the good and ethical and sustainable way. I think this is not just me, and it's not just that tree company in Kenya. I think everyone needs to have that in their mind going forward. We can't continue as we've done for the last couple of 100 years. We need to do something different. And if that's copying Better Globe, how they conduct their business, or if it's just to start with, maybe to invest through me to them, that's also, I mean, a way to do it. But we need to change how we see. Profit is not the only thing we should measure.
That's a very compelling message, and thank you very much, Stefan Heintz from Better Globe, for being here in our podcast today. So thank you for that, and we want to be in contact with you, so we will have all the links available. So if you want to find out more about Stefan Heintz, you will be able to do so. And this is from us at Sales Strategy, and we wait for you on our next episode. Thank you very much for listening this week. This is Nathan Manzaneke, a business owner and consultant in marketing and sales, and a speaker. So if you're an ambitious person and you're looking for advanced growth in your business to help you achieve your objectives, or maybe you want to know where to place your focus in your business for this current growth phase in your business, please come and visit nathanmanzaneke.com. I'll be more than pleased to help you with your objectives.